Hi, Sue Wilson back again. Let's talk about tying bows today. We have an amazing new die collection that has these three-dimensional bows that I am just crazy about. So to show you what we're going to be using, I've got the classic bow from the Finishing Touch range. This is the Granada from the Spanish collection, which is going to form the main focus. The California collection, we're going to be using the Decorative Frames B set, as well as Set A basic frame set. And we're going to be using the larger cutting ring from the Seville out of the Spanish collection as well. Now, one of the other things I've used on this card that I really, really like is this Teresa Collins paper pad. And they've done some of the designs for us in here with a little bit smaller of a pattern, so they work really well with backgrounds. So I'll show you what I mean. I've started by going ahead and setting this up with a two-piece section on my back. I've got a kind of a small musical theme background here with a matching decorative bottom piece. So that'll form the basis for our card. Okay, now I'm going to do a bit of cutting just so you can see how the dies cut and how they work. But I think what I want to do first is to cut that bow. Let's just get started and get stuck right in with that one. So I'm going to be using the larger piece of the bow, the smaller piece of the bow, the tail that goes outward. There's two different tail designs you can pick from, and the wrap piece. So let me just put a little bit of removable tape in place, hold them down on the cardstock, and let's run those through. These bows are really easy to put together, and they just add so much to your card. I really, really love the way they look. And there's a bit of detail on this one, even though this is the classic bow. I'm going to go ahead and emboss it. So we're going to move it over here, put our embossing mat over it, and then run it through. Got the pink embossing plate on the top now. Let's see how we look. Oh, that looks good. So let's take that out. And I'll tell you why I'm going to start with the bow. Because what I like to do is to get it all taken out of the die and then put a little bit of glue on it and I'll leave it to set aside. So just let's take a second here and pop this out of the die cut. It's got some pretty piercing holes all the way along the edge there. Take off all our tape. There's our little wrap piece. Get a hold of that one. There. Put that back on our magnetic sheet. Get the big piece here, and there's a couple little release holes. Let's just get it popped out there. There we go. And one more, the small part of the bow. Now these bows are nice. You can make a single bow with either the large or the small. You can make a double bow like we're going to be making. You can also use this classic bow as a basis for the other two designs that are in the set, which are the filigree and the lattice bow. So there's all sorts of options that you can do. So like I said, we're going to put some glue on the ends here, and we're going to let it set up for a bit, and then we'll work to the rest of our card. Glue in the center. Get it started there. Glue on the edge. This one's going to go this direction, so I'll put a little tiny bit there. On my wrap piece, I'm just going to put it down the center, like that, and on this small piece on the ends on either side. And do just a little bit of forming so it'll bend nice and easily. Just let that glue set up and get really tacky for a moment. So I'll set those aside, and we're going to do a bit more cutting while we're doing this. So bring back our cutting plate. Now this is the largest cutting frame on the Seville set, and it's a basic, it's been designed as a matte layer basically. So if you want something that's a little bit larger that will show around some of your decorative pieces, this is perfect for that. And I think I can even fit the rest of these on here. So I'm going to be using from the decorative frames in the set B in the California collection, one of the shapes. That should all fit. And I've stamped a sentiment from the Bold Sentiments, which is one of the Creative Expressions stamp sets. And I'm going to use the basic frame A on this one because they've been meant to go together and layer up. So they look really pretty. So I think I can get all of those on there at once. Let's see. We'll run that through. Now you hear that cracking? That's perfectly normal, especially with the bigger open labels. It's just the sound of the die going into the cutting plate that it's been designed to do. There we go. Let's see. I'm going to do just a tiny bit of embossing here. Let's take that away. Pop that like that. Make sure you put it back into your frame. As if they pop out, you want to re-register that. Go. There we go. Get our tan mat, lay that on top, and this one's just being fussy, so let me lean over just a tiny bit and make sure it's back in there. That looks good. And bring our pink plate back in to do our embossing. Okay, there's that one, and we can put this back into our die set. Move these out of the way. I'm going to do a little bit of inking while these are still setting up. Now, the sentiment is the one I want to put some antique linen on and just bring that out. So I'll leave that one right there. Got the Distress ink here, a little bit of cut and dry foam. I'm going to hold the die down and just ink around the edge. You've seen me do this many times. It's just one of those things that adds a little bit more to your card. And this is on milk colored card, so it's a really soft, subtle look with the antique linen. It's one of my favorites. There we go. You can see how pretty that looks. It's just enough to bring the edge out and kind of give it definition. So I'm going to put a little piece of mounting foam on the back. That should be about the right size. And then pop this one out. I'm just going to run my thumb under that. You can see all the detail around the edge, and this is from the decorative frame, so isn't that pretty? Let's just put these away. And we're going to layer these two up. So let's go ahead and do that. This one will go right into the center. Like that. Now, the black mat that I cut earlier, that is to go onto the Granada. And I went ahead and cut this ahead of time because of the detail. I didn't want to spend a lot of time in the video poking out the pieces, but you can see how beautiful that is. And when you add it onto the edge of the matte layer, you get that black coming through. It's really pretty. I've got a little bit of mounting foam here around the edge. Get that one, and you can see how pretty this is going to look. Look at that. Really makes it pop, doesn't it? So let's put that onto our card. But in fact, let's use this bigger piece of mounting foam, and then we'll show you how to assemble that bow. Put this right into the top. Got our sentiment here, and I'm going to add just a bit mounting foam for that one. Put that right into the center. And you can see also how well the different dyes from the different collections mix and match. It makes a really, really pretty statement, I think, like that. And now for the finishing touch. So I've got my bow here, and I'm going to use a couple of these acrylic blocks. And since I've just done a little bit of forming, we've got the glue starting to set up, just like that. What you can do is either hold that for a second or do this and just put it underneath an acrylic block. while you work your way down. This is how I do it when I'm crafting at home. Give it a second. Just put it under here for a second and let that stay. And then we've got our tails and our little wrap piece, and that should actually just start to set up after a few seconds. You can test it if you like. Just see if you can take these away and it doesn't pop apart, then you're pretty much good to go. Let's see how we're doing. And then you can put a little form into these too. And actually, you might think because they're three-dimensional, you can't post them, but they do post beautifully. I've actually done it. They really do come out nice. You get a tiny bit of bend to it, but it's easy to pop it back into place, or you can actually really see the definition of the 3D bow even after it's been flattened a little bit. So what I'm going to do is put these together. I'm going to take my little wrap piece. In fact, I'll even add in this little guy. Let's see if we can get all of them around it. Wrap that around the center of it. And just give it a little second to hold up. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I will put it on with a glue dot, and I think that will hold it better. Stick that right behind it. And the nice thing about these gorgeous bows is you can embellish the centers with little pearls if you like. You could add little dazzlers. It's your choice. You can really dress it up any way you want to. Let's pop that right about like that. I think that just makes a perfect finishing touch for that. But let's put a couple of pearls on either side. What do you think? We'll do 3 on either side. Pop those into place and really give it an accent. There. Get them into place and then we'll straighten them all up. And I usually use the tips of my scissors just to kind of move them around. Get them exactly where you want them. Do this side. And the last one there. You can add a few more to the top, but I think basically you've got a beautiful finished card. And how elegant is that bow? I think anyone would be so delighted to receive this card. Hope you've enjoyed the video.